Hey guys, welcome to my channel Hammond's Hobbies. My name's Glenn, and in today's video we're going to actually go through my recent PSA submission return and seeing if we've got any decent grades. So let's get right into it. Before we get into the main subject of this video today, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody that smashes up the like button on these videos and to all the new subscribers. Welcome to all of you. We're almost at 10,000 followers. I never dreamt that I would have 10,000 followers when I started this YouTube channel. My very first videos were doing Turbo Attax 2020, and I remember the first time I posted and me opening packs of them, it got about 10 views. So now we're almost at 10,000 followers. So thank you to every single one of you guys. Really do appreciate it. And this comes full circle because in today's video, I've actually got a PSA submission where I submitted quite a lot of my Turbo Attax 2020 that I opened up from a brand new sealed case in a sealed box. So fingers crossed we've got some decent grades coming back. So let's have a little look. Okay, so I've got just over 80 slabs here. So obviously I'm not going to be able to spend huge amounts of time, otherwise this video will go on forever. I've also got another 75 or so coming within the next day or two. So this is actually going to be part one of a PSA submission. And then I'm going to do part two for the other slabs that are going to turn up in a couple of days time. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see that. And also follow me on Instagram. Sometimes I post some of my hits on there as well. But we're going to have a little look. So we're going to start off with Chrome 2023. So here we have a couple of hits that I sent off that I just like the look of. Nothing more than that. And that is Felipe Drugovich, award winner in the red green. I really like these red greens this year with the two-tone effect. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Some people prefer how they did them last year with the red and then the green border and all that sort of stuff. But I quite like this two-tone effect. And obviously for some of the drivers, it looks amazing. And then we have another one here, which is David Coulthard. Now, if you guys have listened to me rabbit on over on Whatnot or in my live streams and stuff, you'll know that obviously I'm a huge fan of David Coulthard. He was my hero growing up as an F1 driver, so I had to get this one graded. And it's come back a 10. Hey, get in. Next up, we have a selection of track tags from Lewis Hamilton, obviously the OG. I've actually got about 4 or 5 of these, and the reason that I submitted 4 or 5 was because I knew that historically Chrome 2020 is quite difficult to get 10s in. A lot of them come back 8s and 9s because there's the little tear at the back that is quite common with the Chrome 2020s. So fingers crossed we get a 10 in this selection here. So we've got a PSA 9, a PSA 8, wah. Hey, PSA 10 for the track tag. So we've got 1 so far. Can we get any more? A 9. Another 9. And a 10. So we got 2 10s out of, what was that, 5? So well done for those. It's a shame about the 8s. But, well, never mind. We'll take the 10s. Next up, I have a selection of autographs, which obviously I've got the autos graded, not necessarily the card. This is Roman Stanek from Chrome 2023. Then I have Zhou Guanyu autograph. This is his rookie card as well, so it's his rookie card auto, and it got an auto 10. Hey, get in. Logan Sargent. Obviously he was at F2 when this set came out in 2022. And that got an auto 10 as well. And we've got Oliver Bearman. Obviously he had that amazing race earlier on in the year. Is a reserve driver for Ferrari. And he's testing the waters, or being trained if you like. He's having his rookie year at Haas. He's been signed for Haas, so he will be in F1 next year. So this is definitely one to keep hold of. And then lastly we have Charles Leclerc in an auto 10 from 2022. Ooh, This is probably one of the best autos that I've had, actually, apart from Albon's 1-of-1 printing plate. I think this is probably one of the best drivers that I've ever had an autograph of. And it got the Auto 10. Get in! So that's an awesome hit for me. Right, next up, I have a selection of vintage cards. So these are cards from a mixture of... the first two cards are actually from a set that I did a little talk about, where somebody, and they was trying to sell the Lewis Hamilton. I don't know what they've done with the rest of the set, but the Lewis Hamilton, oddly enough, came back, I think, a 10 or a 9. I had these two for ages, and I thought, you know what? I'm probably never going to see these cards ever again, so I might as well get them graded. So, but this one's come back a PSA 5, so that's a bit of a shame. And then another one is Timo Glock, and that one came back a PSA 8. So quite a rare set there, so I'll keep hold of those because they are quite a nice reminder of the video that I've done for those guys. Next up, I have a selection of cards from Formula E, or Formulae, as it from the Czech Republic. You guys know that I've done videos talking about this vintage set, and I have actually a set of it for sale on my website, hammondshobbies.com, where there's about 360 cards, and they're all of vintage drivers, team bosses, F1 owners, you name it, they're in there. Even some MotoGP guys are in there as well. But obviously, they're quite tough to grade. They're really, really tough. And a lot of the grades that I've seen of these in PSA come back 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s. 8 is a really good grade in these. But these are actually ones that were very carefully popped out of the back of the magazines. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch one of my older videos. You had to pop these out of a page of a magazine, and if you applied any pressure whatsoever in the middle of the card, it basically creased it. So to get these in anything above 7 is like really, really good. So let's have a little look at what I've got here. These are from a fresh magazine that I actually purchased, and I actually paid the guy that is like the best in the world for doing these. He actually popped these out for me, so big shout out to him, big thank you. So we got David Coulthard. I've got to represent David Coulthard. PSA 9, get in. Then we've got Graham Hill, obviously F1 legend, in a PSA 8. We've got Michael Schumacher. I'm a bit gutted about this one. This one's come back a 7, but still, like I say, a 7 in these cards. With PSA especially, PSA are probably tougher. I think I've actually had better luck with CGS or SGC, one of those, and even MGC in the UK. But PSA seem to be quite strict on these. You have to have the little tags. You can see the little tags in all of the, like there's 3 of them at the top, 3 of them at the side and along the bottom. They all have to be intact and they have to be not cut. To give you an example, this one came back, they would not grade it. This is a Jensen button, and they said that they couldn't grade it because it has signs of trimming. Now, if you actually look at the little tags, it's actually got it at the top, but look, there isn't ones on the corner, there isn't ones on the bottom, and there isn't ones down the side. So obviously when I've bought this off whoever, they must have removed this from the magazine by either using scissors and cutting it, or they've cut it with a knife, and that deems it as a void grading because it's been, they consider it trimmed. Now luckily that's the only card out of all the ones I submitted, that's the only one that came back with that, and this is my first time grading Formulae, so I wasn't aware of that. So now I need to be really careful when I have a look at the edges to see whether those tags are actually being removed or if they're still on there. So all of these, this is why some of the grades in here are amazing. So let's have a little look. We've got Nelson PK, came back a 9. So that's amazing. To get a 9 in these cards is really good. I very rarely see 9s or 10s of these on eBay. Rubens Barrichello in a PSA 9. Fernando Alonso. A lot of his images in this set are considered Fernando Alonso's rookie cards because they're some of the earliest known cards of him. So some of these actually sell for fairly decent money. Obviously, Spanish crowds really like these. This is him from 2004. We got Marco Andretti, obviously the Andretti family coming into F1. I've thought I've got to represent. This one actually came back a PSA 9. Get in. Alan Prost. Now this came back as 7. So the two legends, the biggest legends in this set, Schumacher and Prost, both came back 7s, unfortunately. But still a beautiful looking card of him smiling. Obviously dating back all the way to 2004. Came back as 7. David Coulthard, a 7 again. And this is what I'm used to seeing with these type of cards. 7s, 6s, 5s. We've got Jos Verstappen in a PSA 8. Obviously Max Verstappen's father. And this obviously dates back to 2003, this one. So this is a vintage card of him, if you know who he is. Jacques Villeneuve, PSA 10. Get in! Get in! We got one of the vintage cards in a PSA 10. That is epic. And then we got Ralf Schumacher. Again, that came back a PSA 9. So really happy with that. So got some mixed feelings about the vintage Formula E set. Next up, we have a huge selection of Turbo Attax 2020. Now, I know some of you don't like Turbo Attax, but me personally, this is what got me into the hobby. This is what hooked me in. And I know many of you feel the same. So I have like almost an affection with Turbo Attax 2020. Unfortunately, though, out of all of the Turbo Attax that have come since, Turbo Attax 2020 is probably some of the worst quality control. Now, I believe that's because it was the first print run, plus also they rushed it out because they had to print it whilst it was sort of like in, just as COVID hit. So I understand why the quality control is poor on these, but it makes it very difficult to actually get a PSA 10 in any of these. But what I've done is I've gone through, I'm not going to grade the whole set, obviously. There's like, I don't know, 400 cards in the set. So I'm just going to grade some of the cards that I feel look the nicest in the set of each driver. So this is what you're about to see, okay? So we're going to start off with George Russell. This is the one at the start of the set with him with the British flag behind him. We've got a PSA 9. We got another PSA 9. So that's 2 of those. We've got PSA 9s in. George Russell's holographic, I've got a PSA 8. This is quite sort of, I would say anything 7s and 8s is pretty standard with Turbo Attax 2020, based on my findings so far and based on the pop reports. Anything 9 or above obviously is epic. So this one is a really good one. A holographic Turbo Attax 2020 George Russell in a PSA 9. Get in. We have another George Russell PSA 9. We have his other holographic. So every driver, I believe in the whole set, out of all the 20 F1 drivers, they all have 2 holographics from memory. So this is George Russell's other holo, which is a PSA 9. Got another one here in a PSA 9. So George is very much a 9 across the board. Now these are actually from a brand new sealed case that I opened up specifically to submit cards for grading. So I opened it with gloves. I sleeved them straight away, put them in semi-rigids, team bagged them, and then submitted them straight to PSA. So I couldn't have done anything more. And obviously with the newest them clamping down on cleaning cards and altering cards, this is basically as best as I can get. Obviously, I have one more sealed case that I could open up to attempt to try and get PSA 10s. But obviously, as we've seen here with 3 or 4 of them, it's very difficult. 9 seem to be the best that I can achieve. So anyway, that's a really good one, PSA 9. We got Lando Norris, obviously with the British flag. This is one of the first images in the set of Lando Norris. Then we've got another one in a PSA 9. So the British boys are doing me good here with the 9s all round. We've got a holographic of Lando Norris in the PSA 9. And then this one is a PSA 10. Get in the Lando. Come on, Lando. So I'm well happy about that. We got Likeable Lando. image. This is his other holographic in a PSA 9, so that's pretty strong. Another PSA 10 for Lando. Come on, Lando. Lando, see, Lando's one step ahead of George there, as he is in the championship at the minute. Charles Leclerc in the holo in a PSA 9. But we got one in a PSA 10. Hey! I'm trying to build up a collection of all their holographics in 10. So hopefully we can achieve that. Charles Leclerc, his other holo in a 9. And then we got another one in a 10. Hey! So Charles and Lando seeing me through here with some 10s. Well, come on, the boys. Then we have these gold images. Now, these gold images are probably the nicest cards in the set. Apart from, I would actually say the limited editions as well. But these are the ones that everyone seems to want and chase. And these, on my website, these seem to be the ones that sell out the quickest whenever I put new ones up. So we have Valtteri Bottas. To give you guys an idea of just how popular these are, out of all of these turbo attacks, the highest recorded sale is actually a gold card like this of Max Verstappen in a PSA 10. It sold for $500. So that would value that card at around £400, which obviously is a huge amount of money for a turbo attack. But as you're about to see, again, it's very difficult to get anything above an 8. So hitting 10s in that card, you know, it's very sought after. And I believe Lewis Hamilton's one will be as well. So PSA 8 for Bottas. I want to collect a whole set of these, ideally in PSA 10 over time. But I couldn't do it for Bottas. I only submitted 2. One came back an 8, one came back a 9. I got Daniel Ricciardo. For some reason, I only submitted 1 for Daniel Ricciardo, and that's come back a 9 as well. So looks like I'm not going to get a complete set of 10s. Sebastian Vettel, I submitted a couple for him. We have him in a PSA 9 gold portrait. But I have, on the second one, got a 10. Hey, gold portrait from TurboTax 2020 in a PSA 10. I don't know what the pop reports are on these, but I can't imagine it's too many. Charles Leclerc portrait, obviously is going to be very sought after in a 9. But then we got another one in a 10. Hey, get in. So we're adding a couple to the pile of 10s. Lewis Hamilton, I would love to get this in a 10. Let's see if we can do it. Hey, get in. PSA 10 Lewis Hamilton portrait. Well happy with that. Now, based on these results that you've seen so far, what do you think I got for the Max Verstappens? Comment, pause this video, comment in the comment section what you think I'm about to show you. There's 2 of them. What scores did I get? You've just seen me pull 9, 9, 10, 9, 9, 10, 9, 9, 10, and Bottas got 8 or something. So what did I get for Max Verstappen? Let's find out. We got a PSA 7. Wah, wah. So, bit gutted about that. Out of all of them, Max has come back the worst grade. But we've got one more. Can we get the 10? Come on. Smash the like button up to give me some good luck vibes. Oh, PSA 9. That's the best grade I've achieved of this card. So I'm going to keep hold of this until the day I get a 10 to make up a complete gold set. But yeah, that's still a really good grade. Now, these gold Max Verstappens, I have opened hundreds and hundreds of packs. You only get one in probably a couple of boxes, and you only get 4 boxes in a case. So I've probably only got 1 or 2 more of these that I can try with PSA. So I've really, really got to hope one of them come back at 10 at some point. Otherwise, I'm probably never going to get them. So fingers crossed, wish me luck. Obviously, subscribe if you want to see that journey. Right, this pile here is Turbo Attacks, but of all Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, I ain't going to lie. So, obviously, for me, that's going to be the biggest chases and probably where the most value's at in the Turbo Attack set. So, we've got Max Verstappen, PSA 7. This is him putting his collar up. But we got another one in an 8. So, Very low scores for both of those. We got him with his arms crossed in a PSA 8. Another one of him with his arms crossed in a PSA 8. Can we get a 10 in this? No. We got one of them, but in a 9. So that's a bit of a shame. But that's the best grade I've got in that card so far. We got his holographic in a PSA 9. I've submitted a couple of these. Can we get a Max Verstappen holo in a 10 to make up for the gold? Yay! We did. We got a PSA 10 Max Verstappen holographic. Get in. I can add that to my holo collection of TurboTax. Next up, we have his Maximum Attack holographic card. This one's come back a 9. What are the odds that we're going to get a 10 in this as well? Fingers crossed. Hey, get in. We got a Max Verstappen. We got 2 holos with 2 10s. Get in. Now, I actually submitted 3 of this card. So what will the other one come back? That one come back at 10 as well. Hey. Now, this puts me obviously in a good position because I can keep one of the 10s and now I can sell one of the 10s. Obviously, see if I can get some more money for it to make back. This grading in total cost me, I think, $1,400 off the top of my head. So obviously I need to claw some money back. A lot of these cards will be going up for sale over at hammondshobbies.com. That's where I always put all of my slabs up first, so you should always check there regularly. But I will be organising in the next week or two a huge slab sale and whatnot, so make sure you use my link in the description down below. If you use it, you'll get £10 of free credit when you sign up to the Whatnot platform too, so make sure you keep an eye out on my Whatnot for when I schedule that show. Next up, we have Max Verstappen's limited edition. Now, I only had one of these to submit. If I'm being completely honest, if I had to put money on it in what I thought was going to be worth the most money over time, I would say it would be the whole set of these in the bronze, silver and gold in PSA 10s, because these are the rarest cards to find in the entire set. So I don't understand why the gold ones have sold for such high values, whereas these haven't. So I actually value these a lot higher than those gold ones because of the rarity. But there you go. I suppose it depends on what people want to collect, isn't it? So this one's come back a PSA 9. So I'm really happy with that. That's the highest grade of a limited edition Max that I've ever had. Then we move on to the Lewis Hamilton. So we start off with his moody shot there with some images of him in the background as well. That's come back a 7. We got another one of that one in a 9. That's the best grade I've got of this image. We have him with his arms crossed in the white Mercedes outfit. Obviously after this they changed the outfit to black, so it's quite nice to see him in this colour Silver Arrows kit. Then we have the same image but in a 8. So Lewis is doing us really dirty here. We haven't got very many good grades of Lewis. We've got 7s and 8s, which is what I expect from TurboTax if I'm being completely honest. Then we have Lewis Hamilton with the British flag. I would love to get all 3 of these, Lewis, George and Lando, all in PSA 10 with that British flag in the background. I think that would be an amazing set together. But unfortunately today we got an 8. And we got another one in an 8. So, unfortunately, no 10s. But we did manage to get a 9 in it. Hey! Happy days. PSA 9. That's the highest grade I've got of that image. Obviously, I'll put that with the George and Landos, see what it looks like, maybe take some pictures, put it on my Instagram. Make sure you join me on Instagram if you want to follow me under the name Hammond's Hobbies if you want to see some nice laid out images of these put together. I took one of the Red Bull sort of team logo for this set. It came back a 7. I got another one in a 7, which is unfortunate. But again, pretty standard across the board for TurboTax. I did the Mercedes one. Came back an 8. We got another one, Mercedes, in an 8. And I got the Mercedes logo, but in a 9. That's the highest grade I've got of any of the logos from TurboTax 2020. So Big well done. Then we move on to Lewis Hamilton's holographics. We've got his Hammer Time one in a 9. Can we hit Lewis Hamilton in a PSA 10? Yes, we do. Get in. We got the Hammer Time in a PSA 10. So slowly I'm chipping away at getting the whole holographic set in PSA 10s. We then have his other holo. As I said earlier, every driver seems to have 2 holos in the set. This is his other holo. We got a PSA 8 of it. And the next one, can we get the 10? Hey! Lewis Hamilton. So we got both his holos in a PSA 10. Really happy with that. These are probably the best grades I've had back for TurboTax 2020. And this is because I pulled them from a fresh case. And then we have his limited edition gold, again pretty standard, in a PSA 8. Now these actually came with the starter pack, so they got obviously knocked about quite a lot. So I'm hoping I can pull one from a box that's sealed, it's been looked after. So that came back a PSA 8. So that's the best I got for the limited edition. And that is it. That is 83 PSA graded cards. What one of these cards was your favourite? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Do you like me doing videos like this, talking about the cards as I go through them? Or would you prefer me to just do a quick video where I just literally fan through them all? I like to discuss why I've submitted them for grading, because basically what I'm hoping to do is obviously submit these cards, and if I like them, I'm hoping other people like them. And the reason why I've submitted 2 or 3 of each image is because I'm hoping that obviously if I can hit a 10, keep a 10 myself, ideally sell the other 10 if I can hit more than one, or sell the other 9 and stuff like that. So that way hopefully I can sort of cover the cost of what it cost me to get them graded. So that's it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment down below which one is your favourite card, and maybe we'll do a giveaway of a slab on this show very shortly. I've got another huge PSA selection to go through as well. That's part 2, but that's for another video. Make sure you're subscribed to see that video in your feed. Tick the little bell notification so you get notified when I upload new videos. Make sure you follow me over on Instagram, and if you really want to check out these cards and what I value them and price them and put them up for sale for, you can always check them out over at hammondshobbies.com. That's it from me, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.